Hello everyone. Today we're gonna check out 3 toxic mothers-in-law who finally faced justice and get what they deserved. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Mother-in-law burned down our house and got arrested. I'm posting for the second time now. I didn't see that coming. We made a big mistake when we didn't take Mil's threat seriously enough. We thought that she's like a dog that barks but doesn't bite. Speaking of dogs, the only hero in this story is actually our dog. Heavens bless our dog. It happened at night, my husband and me. We're heavy sleepers. We were dreaming sweet dreams and didn't notice anything. If our dog hadn't jumped on our bed and barked, waking us up, we would probably both be dead now. I'm a firefighter myself and I realized that the fire was too big already. We couldn't put it out by ourselves. We escaped through the window, fortunately unharmed. Somebody had called the firefighters who happened to be my colleagues, which was a weird situation. It was the first time they had to work on their buddy's house. They tried to work as fast and as efficiently as they could, but our house is damaged beyond repair. We can't live in it anymore. Mil got caught and basically dug her own grave because she herself said that she was hoping till the last minute that her son would come to his senses. Break up with me and start to date women, but he didn't, and she felt ashamed that she has created such a deformed human being. So she decided that it is better to have no son than gay son. She basically said she wanted to kill him. So even though at first what happened was classified as arson with the intent to damage the property, which would mean softer sentence, after those words it became arson with the intent to endanger life, and that means much more severe punishment. Even up to life imprisonment. Our lawyer said that most likely she will not receive the maximum sentence because no one has died, but she will receive at least a couple years behind bars, and there's not much her lawyer can help her because she confessed. And she said such a stupid thing. Well, but my son's faggot husband is a firefighter. Why didn't he save his house? In the middle of the night. Just awoken. No gear. No tools. No equipment. Caught completely unaware by the fire. Are you serious, Neil? You think that just because I'm a firefighter means I can put the fire out with my bare hands? Many people think that house fire is like they see in the movies. Flames and light, but actually it is a complete darkness. The smoke makes the room so dark within minutes that you can't even see your own hands. House fire is always like a dark night. Now we're living with our friends while we find another place to live. Our clothing, our documents, passports, marriage certificate, everything is gone, but of course, those are just things. We can buy them again. We're alive. That's the most important thing. My husband is done with her. He's so very upset that his own mother wished him dead just because he's gay. If before this he still hoped that their relationship could be fixed, now he doesn't want to hear a single word about her no more. Her homophobic hate almost killed us, and it is our own fault as well because we didn't give her actions and words the seriousness they deserved. We know some gay people who also have homophobic parents, but they have never tried actually killing their children. I guess that's why we didn't think that it might happen to us. Mother-in-law kicks our dog. We kick her out of our house. Today my meal was over, and as always, she started to talk about children. We're married for 8 years now, but we don't have children because we don't want them, and Mil has a hard time to wrap her head around it. She started to wail that we're going to be too old soon. We're both 30, and I kind of feel like she thinks our dog has the fault in it. I think she sees our dog as some kind of a hindrance that prevents us from having children, because sometimes she says something like, if you didn't have the dog, you could have children more safely. Also weird that you care so much about an animal but don't even think about having your own child. Our German Shepherd is 14 years old now. Of course, my husband and me, we realize that his life is coming to an end, and it's really hard because he has been my dog since I was a teenager, and my husband has come to love him even more. He's like a child to us, and it's very difficult to say goodbye. He doesn't have any terminal illnesses though, and the vet said that as long as he's still eating, drinking and walking, we don't have to think about putting him down yet. So this time Mil got upset because we asked her to close this topic once and for all. Whether or not we have children is none of her business, and we're definitely not going to have them just because she wants us to. She went out of the living room into the foyer to get her jacket that was hanging there on the rack. Between the living room and the foyer, there's this short hallway, and our dog was walking there. I went out of the living room just in time to see Mil snarling, "Get out of the way, you dirty mutt," as she kicked him on the side. The dog staggered aside, surprised, as he has never been hit before, even when he was a puppy and was doing all kinds of mischief. We never ever physically punished him, and this bitch wasn't gonna either. So I was like, what the frick are you doing? Why would you kick the dog? Mill said, "Well, why is he getting in my way? Moving like a snail. I don't have time to stand here forever." "Yes, Mill. The dog is slow. It's because he's old and doesn't have the energy anymore to run around all the time. So, move your ass around him." Honestly, she could have easily walked past him. The hallway is wide enough, but no. She probably hoped that no one will see her taking her frustration about us not having children out on the dog. I told her that the dog lives in this house and she doesn't have any rights to treat our pet like that. The dog doesn't have any fault in anything. If we wanted to have children, we would have them regardless of owning a dog. He's not an obstacle, and I told her that if she ever does something like that again, I will rip her head off. My husband didn't see Mill kicking the dog, but he heard the noise and came to see what's going on, and I told him that his mother attacked our dog. First, he couldn't believe it, and then he blazed in fury. He was 100% on my side, and he told her to leave our house and never come back. He said she'll never step over the doorstep of our house because our dog deserves a peaceful remaining time of his life and she's a danger to him. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I knew he puts me above his mother, but I never thought he has that much of a spine. Mill was starting to say something, but my husband dragged her into the foyer. He didn't even let her get dressed. He threw her jacket and her boots out the door. By the way, it had rained shortly before and the jacket landed in a puddle, and told her to never contact us again, and if we ever decide to have children, she'll never see them. Mill was offended beyond words. She was like, all because of one dirty, shedding, unsanitary piece of hair. You'll both regret it. Our dog is fine. In case you're wondering, my husband insisted that we go to the vet to make sure Mill didn't cause some internal damage, but everything is okay, as much as it can be in his age. My husband blocked Mill's phone and it looks like he's very serious about going NC with her. So am I. I will never understand cruelty towards animals. Mother-in-law is arrested, this time by me. Trigger warning: violence, homophobia. I'll try to post this one more time in case I did something wrong. Yesterday I came in for my shift in the morning, without thinking about Mill at all. I got changed, had a cup of coffee, looked who I was going to be paired with, and when my partner and I walked out of the police station to go to the patrol car, I saw Mill. She did kind of come up to me. Not close enough for a conversation, but close enough so that I could hear her. She started to say something about my boyfriend and the money she needs. I saw her, but I totally ignored her. I just walked past her without saying a word and went straight to the patrol car to start my shift. And the fact that I ignored her annoyed her pretty badly, I guess. She stepped back a bit, waited till we got into the car, and just before we turned on the engine and started to drive, she grabbed a rock from a nearby flower bed and threw it to the windshield of our car. The windows of our patrol cars are quite durable. Fortunately, it cracked but didn't shatter, and I didn't end up with a face full of glass. I wasn't driving. My partner was driving, and it was obvious that she aimed her throw right at the passenger seat where I was at. Then she probably realized that doing that to a police car in front of two police officers in front of a police station wasn't the smartest thing to do, and she turned around and took off running. I got out and ran after her. This pursuit wasn't very long. She only made it till the park that's not far from the police station when I caught her, and that's when she started to make the biggest scene I had ever seen. Mill had no intention of calmly letting me put handcuffs on her. Instead, she dropped to the ground and started to yell for help. Mind you, it was an early morning, but there were already quite a lot of people in the park. Some were walking their dogs, some were jogging, some were just walking through to get wherever they needed. She was yelling at the top of her lungs, "People, good people, help me, I'm being abused. Call the police. This one is not a real police officer. He's trying to kidnap me," and things like this. She was yelling for help so loudly that everyone in that park stopped whatever they were doing and looked at us. Everyone, men, women, children, dogs, and cats. There was not a single person that wasn't looking at us. You might think that I'm a man and she's a woman, so I should be able to hold her down, but really it's not that simple. She was hitting and scratching and biting. She was spitting at me. Also, during the struggle, she kicked me several times. Quite hard and painful. Honestly, at this point, I had all the rights to tase her. I didn't. My partner came with a car. He helped me and together we managed to handcuff her. The next problem was getting her into the patrol car. Our patrol cars are like vans. The back door opens and there's like a cage with a bench where you can put the person in. And Mill wasn't going to get in there without a fight, even with her hands cuffed. She was kicking the door, spread her legs very wide so that we couldn't get her in, and when we got her in, She was putting her feet in the doorway so we couldn't close the door. While she was doing all this, she never stopped to yell that we're breaking her bones, that we have no rights to treat her like this, that this is against the law, and still asking the people to call the real police. During my whole career as a cop, I had never had an arrest like this. I have arrested many drunk people, many aggressive people, many weird people, but this right here was the stupidest thing ever. We took her to the police station, and if we had troubles getting her in the car. Now she didn't want to get out. She held onto the bars and we literally had to grab and pull her out. Once inside, Mill immediately demanded to see the captain. She wasn't listening when we tried to explain that the captain isn't going to do anything for her and shouldn't be bothered with this. She insisted that she has the rights to see someone superior, and technically she's right. So we went to get a captain for her who recognized her from the last time and wasn't too happy to see her. Mill said that she wants to complain about this officer while pointing at me. She said that I abused my power, used way too much strength on her, and didn't even care that she's a fragile woman, that I twisted her hands and brutally pushed her into the car. The captain asked to see my body camera. This is one of the reasons why we use body cameras all the time. If the suspect says one thing and the officer says something different, then you can watch the recording and see what actually happened. So, the captain played the recording for all of the present to see, and he asked Mill, "What's this, Mom?" As she was clearly ignoring my orders on camera. Mill was like, "This is me fighting for my life. It's a survival instinct." I thought he would take the gun and shoot me right in the head. The captain was like, "No, Mom, this is you resisting arrest. If an officer is giving you a lawful order, you're supposed to listen. And if you don't listen, the officer has the right to use a certain amount of force to detain you." Mill said I take no orders from fags. While glaring at me, she was charged with vandalism, fleeing from the police, resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. And just as she was going to be taken to jail, Mill suddenly started to complain that she's not feeling well. She said her heart hurts and she's dizzy and her blood pressure is too high and she wanted an ambulance. Everyone realized that she's faking, but just to be sure that we're not mistaken and she doesn't die when arriving at the jail, we called an ambulance. The medics came and examined her. Just like we thought, she was fine. Her heart rate was normal. Her blood pressure was normal. She had no need to be hospitalized. I was just thinking, what do you think would have happened, Mill? The charges don't disappear just because the person is taken to hospital. She probably didn't know that even if she was hospitalized, an officer would have gone there with her and stayed with her all the time. And as soon as she was okay again, she would be transported to jail anyway. She wouldn't sneak away if that's what she was thinking of doing. The ambulance left, and even though our captain is a very calm and composed man, at this point he seemed very irritated. He was like, "Mom, is the circus over or are you going to give us more nonsense?" Mill then asked him if he was going to punish me, and he answered that no, he's not going to punish an officer simply because I was doing my job. And then Mill looked straight at him and went, "Are you gay too?" I froze. I couldn't believe that she really just asked that to a captain. I know he's not gay, but this was probably the most inappropriate thing she could have done. He knows I'm gay because I was forced to come out to him when Mill tried to cause troubles for me the first time. He ordered her to be taken to jail immediately, and even then she still had the audacity to speak. She insisted on having a phone call so that she could call her son and he could pay her bail. I'm not sure why she thinks my boyfriend is going to bail her out this time when he didn't do it last time. I called him first and I told him that his mother is arrested, and he seemed quite delighted as he's so tired of her. The captain offered my boyfriend to come to the station and see the recording if he wants, but we really don't want to show ourselves as a gay couple more than absolutely necessary. Mill did call my boyfriend and he refused to bail her out, so she'll have to stay in the cell till her trial. Since she already has a record, I'll be surprised if she's not given jail time this time. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.